Is it true that President Biden said we wouldn't leave when there were Americans left behind?
We have not left Americans behind. They continue to get out.
We left Americans behind.
We did not leave Americans behind. They continue to get out.
Welcome back to American Agenda. Before we introduce our guest, what do you think when you hear that? Because I know you've been involved talking to people.
Yeah, I was up all night last night because I do have a family that perhaps is going to be getting out on Friday, and I'll share those informations after that happens. That's not true. That's absolutely not true. We did leave Americans behind. They know that they left Americans behind. And the part that's true is, yes, they are now continuing to get out, but it's because of veterans and volunteer organizations, not because of the Biden administration and the State Department.
All right. So those comments coming from the Undersecretary of Defense for Policy, Colin Kyle, who insists we did not leave people in Afghanistan, and you're saying even from your firsthand experience, you have talked to people that you know were left behind.
They know that too. They know that too. So he's fudging on that.
All right. Joining us now to discuss, former Homeland Security Department Advisor Charles Marino. Charles, what does the government know, or are they ignorant of who is there? In other words, are they really not aware of who's there, or are they not telling us they're aware of who's there?
Hey, thanks for having me. No, it's infuriating, as you and Heather were just discussing. They know it's not true. They know that they left people behind. And on top of that, they know that they got the wrong people out in terms of the refugees, as opposed to those that helped our forces in the region get to the country, endangering the United States by fast-tracking vetting in areas where vetting wasn't possible. Look, here's the point. With all of the national security missteps that this administration has had over the past 9 months, you would expect to see a little more humility. But what we just saw, unfortunately, is arrogance on top of incompetence. And that's very dangerous in the area of national security, because it tells us overall that this administration does not care about the adverse effects that their decisions are having on the country.
And the women and the children specifically, the family members of, those who joined and fought side by side with the U.S. military there, not being concerned about getting them out, and private citizens donating their travel points on airlines so that they can get people flown to these third countries. That's what's happening, and that's how, and the veterans that are helping out. And the process behind the scenes, and Charles, I know that you know about this as well, where they're having people go in and lead people out to safety, these people that they're calling shepherds. So they're going through different areas of Afghanistan. They're being stopped by the Taliban, many times beaten. Some folks also still being killed as a result of just trying to escape and get to freedom. These are the folks we left behind.
This political appointee, when he was testifying yesterday, was trying to defend the indefensible. And by the way, let's not forget that he was directly contradicted by the general sitting immediately to his left, based on the follow-up questions that were asked, when the general admitted that the U.S. military forces left before all Americans were out. So Americans were left behind. They continue to be left behind. The military is playing a small role, if any, on the evacuation of those that are left behind. And as you alluded to, we are depending on private sector organizations, nonprofits, to get the remaining American citizens out of Afghanistan. I mean, this was a total national security failure. He's trying to defend the indefensible here, and he's putting a face on this for the administration, which is they're lying to the American public about the effectiveness of their strategies as it relates to keeping the country safe. And this is just one example of many.
Let me ask you about this. Secretary of State Antony Blinken ordered an internal review of the Afghan withdrawal. Here's what he said about the matter yesterday.
We can and should ask, could we have done things differently? Could we have taken that step differently? Should we have tried that idea first? Could we have gotten to that decision more quickly? We learned a lot in a short period of time. We learned it the hard way. We learned by doing.
Charles, I'll let you comment on that, but also wanted to get this real quick. Internal reviews, Kyle saying that ISIS-K, and this is the point I'm trying to get to, ISIS-K could develop the ability to carry out attacks against America within a year. Let's go to that clip.
6 months.
The current intelligence community's assessment is that ISIS-K could potentially develop a capability within 6 to 12 months, and that al-Qaeda could potentially develop that capability within 1 to 2 years. But it's precisely that threat that we need to remain vigilant against and disrupt.
It's Charles.
Yeah, I mean, he's right. Listen, you know, the administration is making so many errors, right? Their assumptions were totally flawed. They knew that the Afghan military was not going to last and be able to put up a fight against the Taliban. Secondly, the U.S. government is viewing the Taliban as a reliable partner in all of this when the Taliban continues to come out publicly saying that they are not going to directly go up against ISIS and ISIS-K and al-Qaeda and any other remnants of terrorist organizations that may find themselves in Afghanistan. So again, to go in now from the State Department perspective and look at all of this in terms of what could have been done better, these questions are coming at exactly the wrong time. These questions are supposed to be asked on the front end before you deploy a strategy and allow a strategy to fail. So they're doing this all completely backwards. And we see this in every element of their homeland and national security strategies. And it is just extremely frustrating. And it is leaving us wide open to another 9/11 style attack. Yeah. Let's remember that while they say on one hand, 6 to 12 months, ISIS can again have the capability to attack the United States, our southwest border is wide open. So to view all of these different problems in isolation is really a disservice.
Yeah, and we left Bagram Air Base there empty, and now China just yesterday, what do you call it, Tajikistan, which borders Afghanistan. China is now going to contribute $10 million to an airport there. So it's definitely all interconnected. Charles, thank you very much for joining us.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them, tell them you want Newsmax TV, because we're real news for real people.